I feel like I've seen this movie before, maybe even twice, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Where have I seen this before? So this is Once Upon a Deadpool, which is the PG-13 edit of Deadpool 2. It doesn't really have anything to do with Christmas, so I don't know why I'm wearing this. But yeah, it's what I just said, the PG-13 Deadpool 2. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this review because I've already reviewed Deadpool 2 when it came out. I really dug it. I didn't think it was as good or as clever as the first Deadpool was, but still had a lot of fun with it. And when they announced they were doing a PG-13 version, I was like, you know what? A PG-13 Deadpool can work. If you get the right writers on board, if you make it in spirit with the character, then it could work. I've seen plenty of family-friendly versions of Deadpool that have made me laugh, like the Lego version. If you play Lego Marvel Superheroes, Deadpool's all over that game. And even though he's there for pretty much cameos and side missions, it's still in spirit with the character of Deadpool. So a PG-13 Deadpool can work. However, for me personally, I kind of wish they just made a newer movie rather than re-edit the lesser Deadpool movie. Again, still like Deadpool 2, but I just prefer the original more. It's not technically a bad movie because I did like Deadpool 2. It's very much the same movie, but watered down. And that kind of leads into the issue of it. You could definitely tell that this was a watered-down version because the editing is a little more choppy than the R-rated version because Deadpool 2 was a movie that was made to be rated R from the beginning. So editing it down to PG-13 just feels awkward. There are points where it's actually funny. I'm not going to really say what, but it's something they do with censors. Some of it's pretty clever, I gotta say. They do add a couple of new scenes within the movie to make it more family-friendly and a little more like slapstick. But the biggest thing that this movie is sold on is the fact that Deadpool is telling the story of Deadpool 2 to an adult Fred Savage, who he kidnapped, recreated the bedroom to a princess bride, and pretty much taped him down to the bed. And anytime it cuts to the scenes with Deadpool and Fred Savage, it's really funny. These two have really good chemistry with each other, and it was probably the best parts of this version. The rest of the movie isn't bad, but I've already seen the rest of this movie back in May. And again, I noticed that some of the editing is pretty choppy, and some of the dub work is pretty bad as well. They redubbed some of Deadpool's lines so he's not cursing, which, I mean, you could get away with that because he's wearing a mask, but then there are scenes of characters talking and being dubbed over when they're not wearing masks, and it honestly is like watching a Godzilla movie dubbed in English from Japanese. It's very clear that the lip movement does not match the dialogue at all. And, yeah, I don't have much else to say about this movie. This is probably going to be one of my shorter reviews because I've already reviewed this movie back when it was called Deadpool 2. Once Upon a Deadpool is an interesting experiment. The new stuff that they put in there with Fred Savage and Deadpool is really funny. It really works. But unfortunately, it's about 10 minutes total. I wish there was a little more of that. I wish there were things that made it feel different enough from Deadpool 2 to where it kind of could play as its own movie. Like maybe if they spliced both Deadpool movies. I don't know. I'm going down the road of if I made this movie, this is what I would have done. And to be honest, it's fun to do that every now and then, but I honestly hate it. It's not a bad movie. It's an interesting experiment, but... And there's no way I can say this without coming across as an asshole, but it's not really worth seeing it in the theater. And the reason I sound like a complete shithead for saying that is because $1 for every ticket that's purchased for Once Upon a Deadpool is going to fight cancer, which, I mean, it's a very good cause. But to be honest, that doesn't really change my opinion on the movie. Again, not bad, but not really worth a theatrical experience, so I don't know how to rate this. I would say it's good, but it's not great. I liked the R-rated version of Deadpool 2 better because it was a movie, much like the first one, that was meant to be rated R, and narrowing it down to PG-13 is kind of awkward. Because there's a lot of scenes in this movie that I don't remember when I first saw this in the theaters. They could have been from the super duper cut of Deadpool 2, which I haven't watched yet, but they seem very raunchy and bordering on a rated R level. If you get the right writers on board, people that love this property, and you stay in spirit with the character, I honestly think a PG-13 version of Deadpool can work. Like, push it as far as you can. Would I watch it again? Probably not. If you want to see this in the theaters, then hey, go for it, and at the very least, you will be doing it for a good cause. And that's my review for Once Upon a Deadpool. Now I want to hear what you guys have to say. If you've seen this version of Deadpool 2, what did you think? What do you prefer? Do you prefer the theatrical version? Do you prefer this version? Or do you prefer the super duper cut? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this review. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and of course leave a comment. Don't forget to support my Patreon page, follow me on social media, and until next time, this is the Real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.